So, amid all the hyperbole and vitriol about this coronavirus, the virus is a symptom of the bigger disease. And Tucker Carlson is about to say some of the most profound words I've heard spoken by a media person in a very, very long time.
Announced it was sending 12,000 surgical masks, 12,000 surgical gloves, 1,400 surgical gowns, not to Newark or Camden or Jersey City, no, to Tajikistan. It's hard to believe, but they did it a lot. Similar shipments of medical supplies went to Uzbekistan, Thailand, Laos, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan. Not only are none of those places in America, they're not even in crisis. Between them, all the countries we just listed have fewer cases of coronavirus than the state of New Jersey does right now. But here's the most amazing of all. On February 7th of this year, after the pandemic had already arrived in the United States, the U.S. State Department announced that almost 18 tons of medical supplies, including masks, gowns, and respirators, were being shipped to China. China, the country that started this disaster, the country whose duplicity made it worse, the country whose, by the way, whose economy is outstripping ours. That country got 18 tons of American medical supplies, supplies that we desperately need. Are you shocked by that? You shouldn't be. Our leaders did this. These are the same people who've gotten rich on Chinese money and then censored any criticism of the Chinese government. These are the people anxious to send your kids to some war in the Middle East in a country you've never heard of, but totally unwilling to guard our own borders with troops. These are the same people who sell U.S. citizenship to Chinese oligarchs and then give free health care to MS-13 members. At first, all of this seemed like negligence. And then you realize they just really don't like you. Well, speaking of not liking you, a week ago, the New York Times published an editorial saying, we're quoting, "It is foolish and malicious to hold the Chinese or any other people responsible for the spread of the virus." 4 days later, the paper felt differently because they found a better target, someone they really hate. On Friday, the paper published an op-ed with this title, quote, "The road to coronavirus hell was paved by evangelicals." Got it? It's their fault. A disease that began in a country where Christianity is illegal, a disease that is flourishing most in our secular cities, is in fact the fault of Christians. Oh. And it's easy to see how the New York Times concluded that Christians are the group they hate the most. Evangelist Alveda King is Director of Civil Rights for the Unborn Priests for Life. She joins us tonight. Alveda King, it's really nice to see you, and I'm grateful you came on tonight. So the New York Times has decided that they're all in for bigotry, they hate Christians, and they're just saying it out loud. What do you make of that?
I am a Christian who believes in science. I'm also a Christian who believes in prayer. As a matter of fact, I've done a self-imposed stay at home during the 15 days to slow the roll, and I'll stay closer to home all the way till April 30th, agreeing with the president, who also believes in science and he believes in prayer. So I think it's just very ludicrous for the Times to be so irresponsible as to blame people who pray, who follow the law of this land, who believe in putting America first, not America.
Well, God bless Alveda King. She's a wonderful woman and a true hero of this country. And but what you just heard Tucker Carlson say, I've been saying this for 30 years. Except with the breaks in sanity of 9/11 and dot-com bubbles and all the distractions in the last 25 years. But we have been betrayed by our own government, flat out. Our politicians have all gotten wealthy. Most of the Senate and Congress are filthy. They're just filthy. The FBI is a mirror of that filth. And Sean Bubbles Hannity and all the sycophants for a police state can sit here and say it's not the rank and file. Well, we didn't say that at Nuremberg. We held Germans to account, and we didn't break it up by rank. And if Hitler told Goering what to do because he followed an order, we didn't exonerate him or Himmler, nor would we have forgiven Zepp Dietrich or Heydrich if he wasn't murdered. The point is, We have systemic failure. We have been betrayed by our government at the highest levels. And their apparatchik police force in the FBI and the CIA do their bidding. And don't be fooled. They'd put you in an incinerator to keep their perks and their benefits. They are benefacted by these crooks in our government, and they're great benefactors in the Federal Reserve and the big banks. And so globalism is the soup of the day. And if you have to die because of it, too bad. They're not giving up their party. They're not giving up their perks. Nope, they're going to own houses all over the world. I just read tonight, Julia Roberts sold one of her homes in Malibu for a paltry 8 to 10 million. But she's fine because just across the way, she owns a bigger house that she's owned since '03 that's worth 20 million. And she has houses in Hawaii and mansions in San Francisco because she's an actress. I guess there's no glass ceiling there. A nation with false idols, baseball players that never play. Stanton for the Yankees, $300 million if you yell headache, he's on the 21-day disabled list. We are perverted people. We have broken our covenant with God. And what this wonderful Christian woman, Elvita King, goes on to say is pretty much she's going to keep praying. But you know, there comes a day. George Washington knew this when he laid a cornerstone at Ground Zero, where the buildings came down, having read Isaiah 9:10, warning America if we turned our back on God and had false idols. And here we are. And so the perversion of this society is complete. And here you get to die. I have a good friend tonight. He's fighting for his life. He's on a respirator, a ventilator. He's on dialysis, and he's had a coronary because of it. And I don't know if he's even still alive as I speak. And his wife has cancer, and she also has it. This was brought to you by your government. Make no mistake. The murder inflicted on the people of the United States is no less egregious than if our government had hit squads killing people in the streets. And nobody calls any of them to account. And the Joe Biden, let's make a deal class, the Clintons, they run for president because you people are perverse and stupid. And half of this country wants to vote for them. So instead of running for their lives, like the traitor bastards they are, they run for public office, and even the highest office in the land. There's nobody in this country that doesn't know Joe Biden is filthy. And this isn't about picking on dirty Joe Dirt Biden, okay? But could you imagine a greater metaphor for filthy politics? Tammany Hall Biden. Let's make a deal. Every one of his relatives became multimillionaires once he became vice president because he sold his office all around the world. So did the Clintons. And I want to tell you, this is sick. This is too sick for words. And we're getting told we don't have enough masks. Stay in your house. Cuomo is telling people to have big Sunday dinners because he's an Italian. It's a good time to reacquaint. Well, what does that have to do with safe distancing? This is the greatest form of insanity I've ever seen. Every time one of these politicians speak, within 1 minute, they completely contradict what they said the minute before. Now you have to hunker down and hide. You lose your business. You lose your livelihood. You lose your 401k. Too effing bad. And how long do you think the government can afford to send you free money? Because it isn't very long. You look at the pension system in New York. the millions poured out a day to their chosen patricians. And the rest of you scumbags, you lost your house, you got sick from corona, too effing bad. You're in the private sector, you're on the moon. They don't care about you. George Carlin was right. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. But he was just talking about the rich. It's not just the rich. It's your government. The rich, they're rich. That's what they do. They worship money. And to that end, that's what they are. But public service is supposed to be different. It's one thing when a ball player cheats and throws a game. But when the league sanctions it, when the referees are on the take, well, then you're at a level of perversion that the game can no longer be saved. And that's where we are. The elected officials, the referees and judges are all corrupt. And they get rich. And in your face do they declare their wealth. John Boehner, $50 million. This idiot. John Kasich, $38 million. Nancy Pelosi, somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 million. This witch, this evil, ignorant. I mean, the woman, if she was any dumber, she would be a broom. A broom. But they know how to steal. Hillary Clinton. Her evil and duplicity and mendacity is only exceeded by her ignorance. And the one subsidizes the other. It's like a little kid. He walks into a candy store, he sees what he likes, he just starts grabbing it. Because he really doesn't understand consequence, because he's dumb. And he gets away with it. And he gets away with it and gets away. Is he going to change? No. Kid's going to grow up to rob banks one day. And this is the type of people that most of this country is all too happy to elect. Instead of demanding honor and virtue, which is exactly what Aristotle warned about why democracies all fail, because they run out of men of virtue. The act of doing the honorable thing is virtue. No more. They laugh about it. Go to a court. You didn't expect to find justice here, did you? The cynics run this country. The cynics and the thieves. And now it's going to cost you your life. And mark me well, we're going to war with China. Because it has to happen. It has to happen. When this all shakes out, and the bare shelves of the world cannot be replenished, and the middle to small businesses cannot be rebuilt for a generation, it's an engine that no longer runs. And you got hell coming. And guess what? This is what you signed on for as an American. You deserve it because you let it happen. All you people who said Monday Night Football's too important, or the Emmys are too important, and the Oscars, okay? And I don't want to get involved. I don't like politics, says the people. It's nothing I can do about it. I know people that are my age. I'm 64. They still never voted. They never voted. Apathy kills. Ignorance kills.